Hello and welcome to my week 2 reflection. This week I finished off a few bits first. I finished off my FMP prep. My self-evaluation idea generation was pretty much untouched. I added a research visits part. I'm considering a trip to London to see family, see what London life is like for them, get their opinion on it. And hopefully this will help my script, as I'll be able to write more believable London characters. If I can't actually get out to them, I will just message them or make phone calls. It's not set in stone or anything. It's just a thought that I write about, but it's something that it's definitely an option. People to interview, I increased this. I added everyone here, including a Reddit user, who I'll go on to talk about in a minute. The interactive platforms, swap this out to YouTube, like I said I was going to from last week. This is purely because it's just a better platform than Twitter. For me, I know how to use it more. I have used it in the past, so this is a better platform, and it is good to have it all here in writing rather than just thoughts bubbling around my head. It's actually here, and I can actually use this to act upon it. So, the analysis report, the primary research, I added pictures. This is also in the Word document. It's tagged up as secondary research, because that was the first thing I started. I haven't actually got access to Word, so yeah. But yeah, as you can see, it's here in a Word document, and all of this is up on my Wix. So yeah, I've put the blue answers are the second answers I got them from Reddit user Flip Fandango. He said he got selected for a program called Imagine Impact, where filmmaker Ron Howard will help writers create sellable scripts. So I used his post as an opportunity to ask questions, and I got answers. So I included them. I wrote about them. I made sure to differentiate between the two with my response, so that it would seem more natural, and make sure I'm talking about two answers rather than one. I couldn't get as much out of Flip Fandango's. His or hers, I don't actually know, was very small, very brief answers. However, they still are they're just as effective. They still give insights that helped me and gave me good feedback. Gave me good feedback. The secondary research. This, I finished the writing about the second YouTube video. I looked at the book Story by Robert McKee, and I think it was an introduction to film genres by a variety of authors, including headed by Lester Friedman. Now, the books were harder to find, and what this says to me is I don't want to go back to looking for books. I know I probably will have to, but books for me seem that they're harder to find stuff out of. Like, I had to really scan through Story, and I had to do a lot of digging to even discover an introduction to film genres, and then go through the whole sci-fi section to find something. It really was quite a pain, but nonetheless, I have the results, and this really did help. I now have it, especially with the second book I looked into. It gave me an understanding of what to avoid. I now realize to avoid making something that's dated in the issues it tackles. I don't want to do something tackling Brexit when Brexit could be over by the time I finish writing. I don't want to do something. I don't want to do something that's going to be irrelevant soon, and for that, I think it's best to avoid commentary. However, the quote I found: "Sci-fi films offer some of the best sights to catch a glimpse of an era's zeitgeist." To me, this says that I should include something like to commentate on modern society, and this is just, it's something that I'm gonna have to toy with more into more research. But yeah, I think this really helped because it gave my research with story gave me an understanding of my protagonists. I now feel like I understand my protagonists more, and I can now write more, not convincing, but more. Well, I can write better protagonists. So yeah, there's not much to say on these ones. This is just the stuff I finished, and it was helpful to get a lot of it down in writing rather than just thoughts bubbling through my head. One thing I also did, I started an early story breakdown. This was purely because I kept coming across instances where my mind would just run off in 7 different directions, and all of a sudden I've had to get up and start scribbling down on paper a timeline of, okay, this happens then, and it was really frustrating me. So I did at least act 1, because this one was giving me a few problems, and act 2 is also giving me a few problems. That is something I will have to work on. However, right now I've got act 1 written down, and I do plan to continue this document. It's just an early bit of planning. I thought I'd show it off. This is something I started this week. And if I just remove these and remove that, I can then close this. So yeah, in terms of the planning, I uploaded everything here. Pitch presentation and my project proposal. There will be a link like this PowerPoint file here, which it downloads the PowerPoint. You can open it. There will be one of those for the project proposal. Right now, as I've shown with my Word, I can't access it. So what I've done is I had to take a screenshot of it, right? Because I needed to just need to wrap this up quickly before I could do this video. I had to write the rationale on Paint. I had to edit the screenshots on Paint. This is something that will all be fixed, all be edited, it'll all look better, and it'll all be better for next week when I get back to college. I'll improve everything there. The timetable is particularly useful for me. This timetable, it gives me like an idea. Okay, this is gonna happen at these points. This is when you got your time off, because between weeks 5 and 6, this is when you're gonna be writing. I have a plan for how I'm gonna handle the writing. I'm gonna spend the first week, 9 days, focusing on writing, focusing on purely, okay, I'm gonna write, and then I'm gonna take a few days off. These days will be for me to give myself some distance from the script. Usually, from what I've read online, writers take a few months off, or like a month or so off of the script, and then go back and edit right away, and then go back and edit after that. Sorry, I don't really have the time to be doing that. So the best thing for me to do is to get the first draft done as quickly as possible, and then leave not a hugely little amount of time, but not as much time on the rewrite, because there with the rewrite, I'm already going to have most of the screenplay done. It is just going to be reworking scenes, reworking dialogue, adding scenes, removing scenes. It's not going to be as intense. So I do want to give myself as big of a chunk of break as I can, because I know it will ultimately help my writing. However, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. Whether it's just going to be, okay, I've finished by the end of this college week, I'm going to kick back up, start when I go back to college. Because that might work. Maybe just take a weekend off. I don't know right now. Depends how quickly I get my first draft done. So that was pretty much all I did this week. Finished them 2 documents. I added everything to my Wix, which was a bigger pain than you'd imagine. And yeah, let me just remove this, it's starting to annoy me. Yeah. And I finished my project proposal. For next week, I'm starting my research. I want to get the research report done as quickly as possible, and I want to get as much of it done in college, so I don't have to do this with paint again. You just open everything in Google and just do everything in Google, copy it over to Word. That would probably be better, although for Harvard referencing I can't. So it's a dilemma I'll have to get around. However, that's for next week. So yeah, next week I want to get my research done. I want to also start organising potentially trip next weekend. Well, not next weekend, sorry, next week. However, there are other family commitments from other family. Although that family, actually, I could get some interesting info from. I could get stuff. So yeah, for next week I want to get my research reports done. Okay, that's gonna be it for this weekly reflection. I'm back in the next weekly reflection next week.